Everybody, we are going to be talking about Home Assistant and using it with CoachProxy, or for those of you who have the ERV in version of CoachProxy, this will work with either one of those. This will actually work with a lot of different stuff. But if you're not familiar with Home Assistant is a open source, which also means it's free program to do home automation, and it can do a lot. It's not just obviously for an RV, but it's also great for your home if you still have one. So without further ado, let's really jump right into how I got Home Assistant working with Alexa and my CoachProxy. So first thing you need to do is obviously go to the Home Assistant website and click on Get Started, and then here's your whole list of things to do. We're going to start at the top with installation. There's a lot of different choices here, and you just choose the one that works best for you. Now, when I started this, I had Raspberry Pi as my target for Home Assistant. I quickly changed that to a virtual machine environment for various and assorted reasons, but if you have a Raspberry Pi, it'll work. It'll work very well. You don't necessarily need to go the route I did. It just depends on what you want to do. If you have an extra computer laying around, you can use it, because as you can see here, it has a lot of different options. And there's the different installation methods. There's the operating system, a containerized method, the core, and the supervised. And here you can see what you do get and don't get with the different ones. Now, I wanted to be able to use the Home Assistant add-ons. I've been using Home Assistant for a little while, and I quickly realized I wanted to use add-ons. So that actually kind of knocked out the container version and the core version, and I actually started using with the container version. So that's why I had to switch. And then when I wanted to go ahead and I said I might as well just go all out, and I just went ahead and went with the OS version. But honestly, any of these versions will work for what we're going to talk about today. Since all these guides are pretty well documented, and there's a lot of videos out there on how to install Home Assistant on these different platforms, I'm not going to go over how to do that. I just want to show you that it's here, and let Google be your friend, and YouTube be your friend if you need some help in actually installing Home Assistant. We're going to pick up on a brand new Home Assistant instance, and we're going to jump right into what it sees right off the bat and how to get it working with CoachProxy and Alexa. Let's jump into it. Alright, so now you've got Home Assistant installed. You've gone to the web page for wherever it's going to be at, following the directions that you did. So we're just going to go ahead and quickly create a user and click Create Account. And it's going to ask you to name your instance, and it's going to default to Amsterdam always. So we'll just back way out. You can do detect, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, especially if you're on a cellular connection. And well, that's where my cellular connection is located. That's close enough. So we'll just leave it named home, and you'll notice once it did find where I was at, it changed the time zone and also the currency and the unit system. So we'll go ahead and hit next. I will tell you that I have a way to automatically update your Home Assistant location as you travel, if you have Home Assistant in your RV, which can be very helpful. We don't want to mess with any of those, so we'll hit next. So it's already found all this stuff and plus more here. So we're going to go ahead and click Finish. Now, sometimes when you install Home Assistant, it may take up to 20 minutes for it to find anything, so it'll tell you that. So we'll go to Settings. Well, first let's see what this notification is. Hey, found new devices. So new devices were discovered on your network. Check it out. So it's discovered all these devices already. And this Philips HUE right here, well, that is CoachProxy. Now, the only thing it's found is the same stuff that Alexa would find. So the stuff that's on that Philips HUE bridge, the HA bridge. So you're not going to be able to control the thermostats or anything else. You're only going to be able to control what you could control with the voice assistant. We'll go ahead and click configure on that, and it's going to ask you to hit the link button on your HUE, that's just the start the voice assistant. So go over to your CoachProxy app, and then under restart Alexa integration, click on restart voice integration. Then once you do that, go ahead and hit submit here, and keep it submit until it works. Then it's going to find everything. So then you can just put it in an area, and what these areas are, well, obviously bedroom, kitchen, living room, and plus you can add a new area. And you put them in areas for the ability to do automations and scenes later. Well, you can leave those blank for now if you want. So we'll just go on down and we'll hit finish. So now it's found 27 devices. I can actually just click on that, and there you can see all of the stuff that Alexa would see, Home Assistant now sees. Now the nice thing about this is, from what I've found, Home Assistant has a better connection with this HUE bridge than Alexa. A lot of times with Alexa, it just shows up as unresponsive. I haven't had that happen that much with Home Assistant. So now if I go into overview on Home Assistant, you can see I can control all of these functions. Now if for whatever reason, say this entry light here wasn't functioning, it wasn't connecting, this would be grayed out, so I wouldn't be able to move this at all. But it's not, so I can't. I can actually click on it. I can look at the history. I can go over to settings. I can change the icon. There's a ton of different icons here. Or I can type, and just like type light, and see the different type of light icons. So I can assign different light icons just to make it easier for me visually to look at it when I am just looking at the screen to see what's going on. So that's easy, that's done. And if we go back to settings and devices and services, you can see that it's found some other things too. Now I also can see my HUE's Power Watchdog EMS here. Now I know a lot of people out there have that. That's a little out of the scope of this particular video, but yes, I can monitor HUE's Power Watchdog from Home Assistant. And since I have the ability to get into Home Assistant from anywhere with my phone, I can actually monitor all of this stuff 24/7 and get alerts on my phone as long as I have internet connection in the RV and on my phone. So I can go to settings, under automations, I can create a new automation, and this is just how easy this is to use. I can start an empty with an empty one. So for my trigger, I want the sun, because this is one I use. So it's sunset every day. I can add a device, then go here and say porch light, and action is turn it on. And I can just hit save. So now every day at sunset, the porch light's going to turn on. I don't have to do anything. And I can say, call it what I want. So just that quickly, I've set up an automation that'll turn on my porch light at sundown every day. I can set it up for certain times, there's just a lot of different options here, and it's just that easy to use. I can create scenes along the same line. Like if I can create a scene to say watch television in the living room, and I can set that scene up where it just turns off like the ceiling light and turns on the floor light or something like that. So very, very, very powerful and easy to use. So what makes this even easier to use is with Alexa. So how do we get it to work with Alexa? Now there's a couple of ways. The way I recommend, and the easiest way to do it, is to go down here to settings, and then to Home Assistant Cloud, and it's gonna Home Assistant Cloud is a paid service, but you do get 1 month free trial, no payment necessary. Here, the NabuCasa website. I'll just show you the pricing. It's $6.50 a month, or $65 a year, plus local sales tax if applicable. That's pretty cheap and is honestly well worth the money. It helps support this open source project, and it also gives you the ability to remotely access from your phone or any other device. So that's the easy way to do it. Now, the hard way to do it, which is free, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I am going to provide a link on how to do it. Once you do get it set up, either way, you're going to be able to remotely access your Home Assistant instance and control everything through your Alexa device. Any Alexa device. Doesn't have to be an old one. It could be any of the current Echo devices. But just to give you an idea of what it looks like, I'm going to show you my Home Assistant. Here you can see I have a lot of stuff going on my dashboard. Got the weather, I can see my inside temperature, main ceiling lights, I got LED strips, my television, got different plugs, kind of cool. I turn this off, it changes color so I know. I can click on utilities. Yes, I have my black tank and my fresh tank and my gray tank and my propane. I can see all that. I was able to pull that out of CoachProxy using MQTT. Here's all my Hughes Power Watchdog information. And if it throws any error code of any kind, I get that as well. And it's just some information for my solar. So I can track my solar production here as well. You can also go over here to my network. You saw earlier I had a printer. Well, you can also see that I have a lot of ink in my printer. And you can just see how I have arranged everything, my security stuff. You see all my cameras set up, etc. Just to get it all on one page, you can see it all on one page here. All the stuff that Home Assistant carries, and plus all the stuff you can actually do with this. Like I said, it's super powerful. It does a lot. The one thing about it is it's relatively easy to use, and there's a lot of community support out there, so you can usually find what you need doing a quick Google search. Like I was able to integrate all of my Victron stuff in here. I'm still working on that, but I've got a lot of my Victron stuff in here, and that's it. It is really just that simple. Once you get Home Assistant connected to Alexa, then you can control all this through Alexa. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.